Yo, what's going on guys? It's your girl, Indian Queen, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a few days now, 2 days now since Usyk beat Anthony Joshua for the second time. I was quite upset about that if I'm going to keep it 1,000 because Anthony Joshua's from the UK, he's British, and it's more of a competitive thing. But Usyk was the better boxer. Always has to be a winner, always has to be a loser. So big respect to both guys, and Usyk, yo, he was skilled. But he ain't going to beat Tyson Fury. He ain't going to beat Fury. I had people asking me on Instagram. I never knew he was a boxing fan. If you don't follow me on Instagram, the link is down below. I was posting when the fight was on. I was posting, I feel like I'm in that ring fighting, like we all do, shouting and cheering and screaming. But Tyson Fury is my favourite boxer right now. Since he started, I've always been a big fan. I've watched his journey, seen where he's come from, and also I'm going to be biased because Tyson Fury is from Manchester. He's from my hometown. He's from my country. So you know, Tyson Fury is the one to bring them belts back home to the UK. So today, your girl is going to be reacting to something a little bit different. Yeah, I know. For those that don't know, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I love boxing, I love music, I love animals. I love animals. So today I decided to react to when keeping exotic animals goes wrong. I already know this shit is about to be some scary shit. Who the hell has exotic animals anyway? Bitch, yo. We've got more M&M reactions coming, don't worry. I want to mix it up now. Okay, without further ado, when having exotic animals goes wrong. Yo, I'm excited with this one. I'm excited, bitch. Yo, let's go.
Number 10, unnamed Czech filmmaker. In 2014, the member of a film crew was attacked by a pet lion in the Czech Republic while shooting a documentary at the owner's home. 53-year-old SS Basista was living with 2 adult lions, Alex and Mijanka, which he'd raised since they were cubs. Basista received constant complaints from his neighbors, who described the felines as killers. Nevertheless, he and his family maintained they weren't aggressive. Alex and Mijanka were allowed to roam freely around the house. And
have you seen what Alice and Mijanka look like? They look like natural-born killers, Mother Hubbard. Now, I can guarantee you this, ain't no Indian family in the UK going to be having no exotic animals in their house walking around like it's a jungle. No. Actually, on second thoughts, I've seen some crazy ass Mother Hubbards in India that do some shit like this. But me, personally, hell no.
And Basista would often join them in their rough and tumble antics. As the production crew arrived at their home in Stupava, Mijanka was wandering around the living room. Suddenly, she pounced on the back of a filmmaker and sank her claws into his flesh. The owners were on standby and, after a brief struggle, managed to wrestle her away. The filmmaker sustained minor flesh wounds. Even though it would have taken mere seconds for Mijanka to inflict critical injuries, Basista insisted that she was only playing. Number 9.
I don't care if I'm a filmmaker or not. See, filmmakers are so desperate to catch all these shots and scenes of animals, and then your ass got bit. Your ass got bit. You think I'm going to step in a room with a lion? Mother Hubbard, they are intelligent, they are beautiful. Lions are one of my favourite animals. Elephants, lions, orangutans, I love them. I love a lion. They are beautiful, majestic. But bitch, I'm going to look at a lion through glass if I'm going to the zoo. I've been to the safari park with my windows up, doors locked, bitch. I'm even looking at him from miles, looking at him. I even snuck a wave at one. I tried not to make the eye contact, so I was close my eyes and wave. Hell no. Hell to the no.
Number 9, Austin Hatfield. Florida teenager Austin Hatfield found a cottonmouth near his Wimorma home in 2014 and decided that it would be his new pet. Even though the snake possessed a deadly venomous bite, 18-year-old Hatfield kept it in a pillowcase in his room. According to his best friend, Jason Belcher, The teenager would kiss the snake on its head and mouth, completely disregarding the dangers to which he was exposing himself. Cottonmouths are known to be...
Austin. Because the man said your name was Austin. Austin, who in the world? You must have been out of your goddamn mind to find a snake in your garden that's very venomous, decide to keep it in a pillowcase and keep it as a pet, then to kiss it on the You are first of all, you are nastier than a mother hubbard. Who is snogging pets? And a snake? Why do you think a snake is a snake, bitch? They're not called snake for no reason. You never trust a snake, because anytime they come for you now, Mr. Snake will fuck you.
Are known to be somewhat skittish in nature, but will readily defend themselves if they feel threatened. On a Saturday night.
Did you hear what you just said? They will defend themselves when they feel threatened. Bitch, they feel threatened 24/7, all day, every day. They stay ready. They ain't playing with you, me, or nobody. Bitch, the blood pressure, I ain't even got blood pressure, but I feel like, Lord, I don't want to put it out there in the universe, Lord. God forgive me.
Night, the snake slithered out of the pillowcase, across Hatfield's stomach and off the bed. As the teen tried to recapture it, he was bitten. Belcher was in the kitchen when Hatfield walked in and asked to be taken to the hospital immediately. He was in critical condition on arrival, but was treated with antivenom and eventually stabilized. It was reportedly illegal for Hatfield to have the cottonmouth at his home, since keeping venomous snakes require special permits.
Did you see Austin's face? Austin looked like he got fucked up by 20 baboons. 20. This was one snake that did that to you. One powerful snake. Austin powers. You must have thought you had powers, Austin, but you must have thought that shit, because I tell you something. Me, I'm never going to... No.
Number 8. Vladimir. In 2015, a 21-year-old Russian man identified by his first name as Vladimir was killed by the king cobra he'd kept as a pet. The incident took place...
Vladimir. I know what they're going to say next, Vladimir. I pray to God that they say that you didn't die. A king cobra, Vladimir. When I was a kid in school, they always said, the powerfulest of snakes is the king cobra. You know, I would always shit it. I always shit it, even when I opened up a book and seen a snake in it, bitch. Oh, no. No, Vladimir. No.
The incident took place at the man's apartment in the city of Tolyatti. It was there that, aside from the cobra, Vladimir also kept a green mamba and a red spitting cobra. His social media featured numerous pictures of him and his venomous pets. His girlfriend, Anna, claimed that he'd like to play with the snakes and wasn't afraid of them. She was in the apartment.
How's Anna, his girlfriend, even with him? And she said he liked to play with the pets. Bitch, if you want to play with a pet more than your girl, you got some serious issues. Vlad.
She was in the apartment when Vladimir was bitten by the cobra. The animal had reportedly attacked him as he was trying to feed it. Anna immediately called an ambulance, but there was nothing more that the paramedics could do for him when they arrived at the residence. Within minutes of the bite, Vladimir had passed away in Anna's arms. Number 7. Mikhail.
And he died in his girls. That is sad. That is really sad. No joke, that is sad.
Mikhail Prasek. 33-year-old Mikhail Prasek kept 2 lions, a male and a female, in the back of his home in the village of Zdekov, Czech Republic. He didn't have a license for the animals, which he'd been breeding illegally and housing in cages of his own design. In spite of multiple fines and concerns expressed by local residents, Prasek refused to relocate his exotic pets or to allow anyone representing local authorities onto his property. They were at an impasse because there was no evidence of animal cruelty, and keeping the lions wasn't outright illegal due to a lack of alternative facilities in the country. Prasek made headlines in 2018 when he was out walking his lioness on a leash and a cyclist crashed into it. The cyclist suffered some scratches that required treatment, and local authorities at the time deemed it a traffic accident. In 2019, Prasek's father found him in the pen of his 9-year-old male lion. He had been fatally mauled and the pen was reportedly locked from the inside. Police were called to the scene and shot both lions, an action they deemed had been absolutely necessary in order for them to retrieve Prasek's body. A local news outlet reported that,
oh hell no. So the man got locked in the cage with the lion and the lioness. Now, a queen will always protect her king. The lioness will always protect her king. There ain't room for 3 mother hubbards in a cage. And the saddest part is that these lions should have been kept in the wild or been looked after by trained people. And in the end, these poor lions were shot dead. These beautiful creatures were shot dead. One thing I really dislike is when innocent animals get killed because of stupid human beings. You know that a beast does not live with a regular person. Hell no.
Local news outlet reported that the lioness was pregnant at the time.
And the lioness was pregnant at the same time. So you murdered a pregnant lioness, an unborn child, and a husband. Oh my lord. This shit is deep, deep. Lord, I didn't know this shit was about to happen.
Number 6. Dean Armstrong. In August of 2012, a man from Cambridge, England, nearly died after he was stung by his pet.
You hear what he just said? From Cambridge, England. Mother hubbards. Oh my gosh, let's go.
Stung by his pet scorpion. Dean Armstrong had grown up surrounded by exotic animals, as his father had owned a zoo in the 1960s. Since his late teens, Armstrong had started his own collection of reptiles and arachnids. He was in his early 40s when he got Sue the scorpion from a local pet shop. The owners had had trouble selling her because she only had one pincer.
You know what the part I can't get over the most? Who calls their pet scorpion Sue? The most plain Janest name ever, Sue. If there's any Sues out there watching me, please forgive me. I think your name is lovely. But not for a scorpion. A scorpion's got to have a powerful name to represent its scorpion. I will call him Poison, Death, Deadly.
One pincer, which meant that she struggled to hold food. Armstrong was trying to feed her a cricket when Sue whipped her tail over. The man had been stung or bitten by his pets numerous times, but remembered at that moment feeling fear for the first time. Within a minute of being stung, Armstrong collapsed. Fortunately, he was almost immediately discovered by his cleaner, who called the emergency services. He was rushed to Whipps Cross Hospital in East London, where he received a blood transfusion meant to flush the venom out of his system. When he woke up, he was paralyzed on the right side of his body and he couldn't speak. Armstrong was relieved about an hour later when the effect had passed, not knowing that it was only the beginning of his ordeal. The venom had severely damaged his pancreas, and weeks later, he was in surgery to have the organ drained of the toxins. Another year passed before he suffered further complications from the initial sting, when a cyst broke in his stomach and he started vomiting blood. Armstrong underwent life-saving surgery. When he came to, doctors told him that they'd removed his stomach, gallbladder, half his pancreas, and some intestines. Even though he'd have to carry a colostomy bag around for the rest of his life, Armstrong felt fortunate to have survived. Number 5.
Wow. Wow. That man went through all of that for a... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I personally would never have thought that that's what a scorpion sting would have done. That just woke me up. Next time I'm going to educate everybody and say, you really want that snake? Go die. No, we have to educate the children. We have to educate the children. We have to educate... No, this is not right. No.
Number 5. Sharon Miller. In the late 1990s, Sharon Miller purchased a tarantula that her 8-year-old daughter had wanted from a Lake Forest pet shop in California. Miller knew that it could bite, but that the venom, barring a severe allergic reaction, generally had very low toxicity towards humans. However, she was completely unaware of a second and arguably more effective defensive response. The woman reached into the spider's cage to clean it, but suddenly felt discomfort in her eyes. As she rubbed them, they became red and extremely painful. She compared the sensation to having burning grains of sand in her eyes. What the pet store had reportedly failed to tell her was that when faced with larger attackers, tarantulas will flick their hind legs forward and fling hairs from their abdomen into the air. The arachnids...
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Did you see the... Oh my gosh. They flick it into the air? Or they flick into the air? So it went... And that fucked up...
The arachnids can be quite precise in directing their attack. Their hairs aren't soft, but more like minuscule barbs that are meant to affect their target's sight. Miller was left with blurred vision after several of the tarantula's hairs got lodged in her right eye. She subsequently sued the pet shop for medical expenses and emotional distress, arguing that they'd failed to warn her about the dangers of owning the exotic pet. Number 4. Norman Buwalda. In 2010, Norman Buwalda, chairman of the Canadian Exotic Animal Owners Association, was fatally mauled by a massive tiger he'd kept at his property in Southwold, Ontario. Nobody witnessed the attack, which claimed 66-year-old Buwalda's life. A family member who'd found his mangled remains was able to lock the 650-pound Siberian male in a separate portion of the cage. When officers arrived at the scene, it was visibly agitated, pacing back and forth in its enclosure. It hadn't been the first attack to occur on Buwalda's property. A few years prior, in 2004, a person from Toronto suffered severe head and neck injuries after being mauled by one of his tigers. They survived.
After someone's been mauled, you still keep the tiger, and the tiger looks trapped in not even in a small ass enclosure, and then locked in the Mother Hubbard cage thing. Of course, the tigers are supposed to be free. They don't chill with regular ass people. They don't even chill with people. They chill with the tigers and their prey. Because that's where they want to be. They don't want to be with you. I can't believe this shit. I can't believe this shit. And to think, I was, you know me, I was so scared of animals when I was younger first. I had 2 goldfish. No, sorry, I had 1 goldfish. My sister had the other goldfish. They were my best friends. I used to put my finger in the water and tickle them. And then one day my sister's fish died. I think I overfed it as well. God rest in peace, Valentine. Hers was called Valentine, mine was called Rainbow. I think I murdered a fish, not intentionally. I think I overfed them, but mine didn't die. Mine didn't die. But they're both in the same... You know what? I'll confess this another time to her. I can't be doing this out to the people.
They survived and recovered with treatment. Southwold's deputy mayor told a media outlet that the township had lost the case that would have forced Buwalda to get rid of his exotic pets. In a dark, ironic twist, one of the animals that he'd fought so hard to keep ultimately ended his life. The fate of the tiger remains unclear. Number 3. Daniel Brandon. On August the 25th of 2017, Englishman Daniel Brandon was killed by his pet African rock python at his family's home near Basingstoke in North Hampshire. The 31-year-old had owned the 8-foot serpent, named Tiny, since she was small enough to fit in his hand. In the wild, an African rock...
That python does not look small. He said small enough to fit in his hand. She is a lot larger than his hand. He can hold the head, and there's still some head leaking off here, leaning out. There's hold the body is still draping down the other hand. That is not no tiny python. That is not a tiny python. There must be bigger pythons, but that is not tiny. A python bigger than this is huge. A python bigger than this is huge. Huge. That is an anaconda size.
Rock python will use its formidable strength to constrict antelopes, monkeys, and even small crocodiles, which it then devours whole. Brandon kept several other snakes and was never scared of Tiny, according to his mother. However, she reported that the snake would sometimes lash out at her when she entered the room. On the night of Brandon's death, the woman remembered a thud coming from his room, but thought that he'd knocked something over or dropped a piece of fitness equipment. She later found him unresponsive and tiny, coiled under a cabinet. A coroner ruled without doubt that Brandon had died from asphyxiation following contact with the python.
Even when I hear the word asphyxiation, I never knew what that word meant until Eminem said it. I'm not even joking. Props to Eminem for educating me. Respect. I had no reason to look up the word asphyxiation, bitch. I had no reason to think what the fuck is asphyxiation. Until M starts saying asphyxiation, and I'm thinking, why is this man saying asphyxiation all the time? Now I'm asphyxiated. Asphyxiation. This is not funny, you know. That python killed a man, squeezed the life out of him, suffocated, and then curled up and hid behind underneath something like he didn't do shit. Like no one was gonna know, python, tiny, what you did with your big self and they called you tiny.
Number 2. Sochiro Mori. In 2018, a Japanese man was mauled to death by the Asian black bear he'd been hired to care for. 56-year-old Sochiro Mori had gone to the residence located northeast of Tokyo. It was there that the bear's owner, an unnamed 70-year-old man, was keeping it in an enclosure. Based on the reports of local authorities, he had the necessary permits for the bear, which stood at 4 foot 2 inches and weighed an estimated 110 pounds. Mori, who was the animal's caretaker, had entered the cage, but before long, a neighbor heard him screaming. The neighbor went to the house and found Mori severely mauled in the animal's enclosure. He was taken to the hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Number 1. Paul and Mandy.
No one on this planet can say to me, Sananita, I have a bear, would you mind my bear for a minute? Bitch, you must let me out of your goddamn mind if you think I'm babysitting a bear. I don't care if it's 118 pounds or 100 and whatever pounds. That many pounds is enough to kill me.
Number 1. Paul and Mandy McDonald. In 2019, an Australian couple was brutally attacked by a deer they'd kept at their farm in Moihu, northeast Victoria. 47-year-old Paul McDonald was feeding the wapiti, a cross between a red deer and an elk, when it unexpectedly lunged at him. His wife, 45-year-old Mandy, intervened, but sustained devastating injuries to her leg and upper body. Their teenage son witnessed the incident and ran to get help. Police officers arrived at the scene and fatally shot the deer. Mandy survived, but Paul had been gored to death. The woman was flown to the Alfred Hospital in critical condition, and according to updates on her case, she required over a dozen surgeries on a long road to recovery. In the aftermath of the attack, wildlife authorities warned that male...
Wow, everything just reminds... And you know what? I react to music and I'm reacting to animals today because I love animals. But everything is reminding me of Eminem. It's like I can't get away from him. I hear asphyxiation. Then they took him to Alfred Hospital, and it reminds me of Alfred Hitchcock. And it reminds me of Eminem. And then you just said, and the aftermath of this. I'm just thinking of aftermath now. I need to get out my music head. Yo, this is serious. This deer killed this man and mauled the woman. Oh, hell no.
That male deer, even though they may seem docile the rest of the year, become aggressive come mating season.
This shit, Lord, if you like more reactions like this, guys, please let me know and your girl will react to some more. I hope you have a blessed day. As always, love you, girl. 1.